you want to aim at the feet when you're in a Tracer 1v1. Engagement timing, I believe, is the most important fundamental to have down as a Tracer player. So a lot of time when people complain, mostly in low ranks, I notice, they go in and say, they're distracting the enemy team, why aren't my team pushing in? To be honest, that's your fault. Give them the respect once they've earned it. Don't give someone respect if they haven't earned it yet.
G'day, we're back for another episode of Overwatch Hero School featuring Jai, who is our resident top 500 Freya and Tracer player. So we're very happy to have him here helping us out with some big brain knowledge about the game. Welcome, Jai. How are you?
Yeah, doing well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm very good. I'm keen to learn as I've heard lots about your incredible skill and big brain knowledge and just knowing I think a good part of this series is just learning these just little tiny little hints or things you never think about implementing in the game, or just like changing the mindset of how you play the game a little bit. And just that's the stuff that I'm always interested in, more than like super fine mechanics, but just more of like mindset and thinking and doing
just
the big
general improvement for the right mindset for that.
So that's me.
Yeah, I'm happy to run through that a little bit as well.
I know you've brought some slides with us today, so let's have a look, and I might throw the reins over to you, and we can go from there. So I think I've got the right button.
Yeah, sure.
That's the one. Here we go.
So welcome to the Hero School, where we're going to run through Tracer and Freya. So first of all, before we start, am I qualified to even talk about this stuff? I would like to think so, because I've consistently been around the high ranks of Overwatch since Season 4 of Overwatch 2, reaching top 500 multiple times, and I've peaked at top 211 on DPS, as well as top 101 on tank, despite it being my off role. Somehow I've peaked higher on that. But I've been playing Overwatch since about 2017. Currently playing as a flex DPS player for MENG GONG 2 in Faceit Masters division, as well as I'm currently preparing for OWCS specific Stage 3 qualifiers.
That's so exciting.
And I also have a lot of competitive... Yeah, I'm very keen for that, just in a few days. Then I've got lots of competitive experience, not just in Overwatch, but I've reached the top 1% in a lot of games. So I like to think I've got the right mindset for improving at games.
You are the 1%. There's a whole... We are the 99% trying to grasp. Pull us up, please.
All right, so let's start with Tracer. I will just forewarn, the Tracer segment is going to be a lot longer than the Freya section. Freya is going to be very short. But in these slides, I'm aiming to mostly just do a general overview, and then I want to go in-game and show a few things and explain it in-game rather than reading off slides, because I've never really done this before, so it's thinking that would just be a way I'd be able to explain what I'm doing better.
Great.
So, why should we play Tracer? Personally, I don't think there is a single hero that is like Tracer. She just does things that other heroes do not. She's very rewarding to play, so if you can be good at her, you can just straight up carry games. She's consistently viable and is very often just a safe pick. So picking her up, you really don't have to worry about her being off meta or anything. You can play her passively and aggressively and still get value. So no matter what your playstyle is or what suits you, you can still get value. Arguably, I think Tracer has the highest skill ceiling for any hero in Overwatch, just because there is so many intricate things you can learn with her, whether it be mechanics, game sense, mindset, literally anything. You can always improve something with Tracer. You can always improve with any hero, but Tracer's just that next level above, in my opinion. She could take a fair duel versus almost every hero in the game, and this one might be a bit subjective, but I think she is very, very, very fun to play.
She's fun.
One of my favorite heroes in the game.
Insane.
Yes. Look, some people might not find her fun, but I don't know many people who don't think Tracer isn't fun.
She might be less fun on the receiving end. That might be
potentially, especially before they nerfed the spread, but they increased the 6 damage, which will go through the pulse pistols now.
There was just a quick comment there. There was a quick comment that they were saying they checked the leaderboard today. Top 500 players are full of Tracer players.
Yes, that's for good reason, because she is just very strong, very good hero.
There you go. So
If you're my opinion, no matter if you're a hit scan player or a flex DPS player on DPS, you should know how to play Tracer. Every single DPS player who I'd say wants to take the game somewhat seriously or try and compete needs to know how to play Tracer, at least to the fundamental level. Just because she is that key of a hero. So the slides will mostly be an overview, mostly of her abilities with a few extra tips, and I'll go more in-depth in-game, just as a forewarning. So, pulse pistols. She shoots a 40-round mag in 1 second, and it takes an additional second to reload. They deal about 6 damage per shot, and they can fall down to 1.8 once you reach the maximum fall-off range of 20 meters. And they have a maximum potential of dealing 240 damage in 1 mag without headshots, which means it's very important to ensure that you aren't missing your shots because, well, makes sense. If you're missing your shots, you're just shooting air, so you're dealing less damage. So with Tracer, it's very good to have good trigger discipline, which I will represent a bit later. And blink overview. So she can hold a maximum of 3 blinks, with each one takes 3 seconds to charge. They move Tracer 7.5 meters in the direction that she's looking. And it's worth noting that blinks also move Tracer very slightly vertically, meaning they can be used to reach slight high grounds that you think you wouldn't be able to.
Okay.
And then just some general tips with blinks. So go in the range and just get comfortable with the blinking distance to the point where it becomes second nature to you. So just so you know, like when you blink through an enemy, you can turn around and know, like, if you're going to be looking at the enemy, if you're going to be behind them, wherever. And it's also key for learning blink melees, which is a very useful Tracer tech. You want to use blinks to dodge damage, most commonly in 1v1s, duels, or to cross open space from cover to cover. You can use it to get in range to clean up kills. So when you set up, you generally want to be within 1 blink from your target, and you use the blink to get in the range to kill. This is a very common mistake. I still catch myself doing it from time to time, so don't worry, it's not just a low elo thing. Do not use them for traversing the map. That could be the most useless way of using it. Just walk there. Do not just triple blink across cover to get some, or not across cover, just triple blink to get somewhere. The one exception is like getting from spawn, coming back. I think that is fair to use all your blinks, but otherwise, once you're back in the fight, do not use them to traverse. As like, if you use all 3, it takes 9 seconds for them all to come back. Your value just goes down massively. And blink melees are very useful, and they can be used to burst down targets that are being healed, but it should only be used as a finishing blow. I see Tracers, and even myself, sometimes do it a bit too much, where you'll do a blink melee, even if they're not going to die from it. Like, they'll be on half health, and you go in for a blink melee. Like, you're better off just shooting. Because healing this game is very high, but if they get under that 40 damage or 40 health threshold, the melee can just finish them off and kill them through the healing.
Yep.
Then we've got recall. So it sends Tracer to a location 3 seconds in the past, returning her health to the highest value that it was at in the last 3 seconds. And it's worth noting it also reloads her pulse pistols, and it cleanses negative effects and makes her immune to damage for 1.25 seconds while she is casting it. And just for some key tips with recall, do not waste the recall pre-fight, as your value just becomes next to 0, as you won't be able to do any aggressive plays, and because it just becomes so much more riskier and you're likely to die if you don't have recall. So if you don't have recall, you just slow it down, slow down your pace, make sure you can get it back up, and then you can go in again, do the risky plays. And take a mental note of where you're going to be ending your recall, because it's better to not greed for the extra bit of damage for like half a second, and then you end up recalling half a second later than you would have before, if it means that you can recall into a safe position rather than recalling into the middle of the enemy team. Pulse Bomb, a very notoriously difficult ultimate to use, probably one of the hardest in the game. She throws a sticky bomb that deals 355 damage to people that she sticks, takes 1 second to explode after sticking, and has the lowest ultimate cost of any ult in the game, with the exception being D.Va's Met Call, but I don't really count that as an ultimate, even though it technically is. It requires 1,375 points to charge. So, some tips just to help consistently get good pulse bombs. Whether you stick them or not, to be honest, I'm not great at sticking it, even though I play a lot of Tracer. I think my average is like 30% stick rate, and even a lot of the pros, they miss their pulses all the time. So don't feel like it's something, oh, you must consistently be able to hit pulses. Like, yes, it's good that you can stick some. Just make sure you don't have like 0% stick rate. That's bad. So set yourself up on a good angle to pulse from, which ideally you want to come from the side or from behind the enemy and not from the front, as if you're coming from the front, they know you're coming. They'll have an easier time dodging your pulse bomb. And one way that I like to do it is say I can like come from the side, and if I just walk towards them, if they're like side to side strafing, like I'm doing with my hand, if you're beside them, they're going to just be walking back and forward in a line. You can just throw it forward and it'll hit them. Then you also want to be within 1 blink distance of the target, so you're not having to use too many resources to reach the target that you're looking to pulse. And yeah, just in short, you want to use it to stick. You want to stick target while using as little resources as possible. So an objectively bad pulse bomb would be where you have to use all 3 blinks and recall to stick it, even if you do get a kill. Because once you've gotten the recall and you've gotten the kill, like your value is going to be drastically reduced just because you're not going to have your blinks unless you've got the perk, which I will go through shortly. And you also won't have recall to do risky plays. You also don't want to force the cooldowns with your pulse. You'd rather wait for cooldowns to be forced out. So say there's a Kiriko Suzu, you want to wait for that to be used before you pulse someone, because you can, especially when you start to get to the higher ranks, even if the Kiriko is far away, like if you pulse, say, the Ana and the Kiriko's taking off angle, she can TP to her Ana and Suzu her, even if you think that the Ana will be safe. So that's something to note and be careful of.
There's before you move on,
yeah,
there was some comments in chat. Me Machine says, can we also talk about the 5 damage when sticking because it can wake up sleeping targets?
Oh, yes, I can talk about that. So if there's a sleeping target, do not stick them with the pulse bomb. Instead, chuck it to the side of them, because if you can wake up the target if you stick them. So say, I'm trying to think of a good one. Tracer, I feel like you don't really need the pulse to kill because you can just up clip her before she gets a chance to recall. But we'll just say Tracer, for example. If you throw the pulse bomb and you stick her with the pulse while she's on the ground, she could wake up from the 5 stick damage and then recall to safety. But if you stick it to the side, she won't wake up. She'll die to the explosion damage. So if just general rule, if you see someone who's sleeping, don't stick them with the pulse. Put it to the side of them.
And the other question was, the important thing is pulse the cross, which means pulsing while enemy is crossing, assuming no Baptiste or Kiriko.
Yes. Okay. So say there's a doorway, and if they're walking through a doorway, you'll know they're going in a predictable path. They're going to be going through there. You can just kind of chuck it at the door, and they'll get hit by it. That's probably the best way I can explain it. I've only heard about that concept fairly recently when my coach explained that to me, and yeah, it's very useful just to hit more consistent pulse bombs.
Great.
Okay. So now we'll go on to Tracer's perks. I believe for both the minor and the major, there is no reason to take Blast from the Past and Quantum Entanglement. I think it's a lot better to just take Blink Packs and Flashback. Blink Packs can allow you to get away from danger really quickly because, one, you're picking up health back. That's healing. And you get an extra blink. They can help in a duel. It can mean, say, you could have 4 blinks in a duel instead of 3 if you're fighting near a health pack. And one thing that I've also done when I have that perk, even if I'm full HP and say I get someone to like 20 health, I'm reloading, they're like right to get a health pack, I will blink to the health pack, steal the health pack that I wouldn't have been able to pick up if I didn't have that perk.
And you get the blink back.
Take their health pack and then kill them. So it basically allows you to pick up health packs even if you're full health, so you can steal them more often, which is something I do more often than you'd probably think. And then with the level 3 perk, always flashback, having those 2 extra blinks come back after recall, it's just more blinks. Blinks are overpowered, like in duels. If you don't have blinks, you can't dodge as much movement. You just have less mobility.
Do you think there's any
even with the?
Yeah. I was saying, do you think there's any situation where you would use these other perks at the moment, or it's just like these are the ones? Don't even bother.
Personally, I just think just use those two always. I know some people don't mind the quantum entanglement one, but my personal preference is I'd rather just have those extra 2 blinks every single time. If, like, it used to be 3, which was stupid broken, but even with them nerfing it to 2, I still think it's better. I think if it was recall restores 1 blink charge instead of 2, then it starts to become more of a question of maybe it's worthwhile. I know some people do occasionally take the quantum one for, say, if they are in the tracer duel, because say you recall, you get the extra 50 overhealth, and you have more ammo, and you can shoot the other tracer for longer. And I'll go through the tracer 1v1 soon, as I think that is a very important thing to know with tracer. What was that? But just the 2 blinks, even in a 1v1, even if they get the extra overhealth, it's more mobility. You can turn around, take free trades onto them while they're not looking at you. Because that's one other thing that I'll just like go with Tracer is the concept of free trades. You want to try and as often be shooting them while they're not looking at you. So you're trading for free. They're not trading any damage on you. You're trading a whole mag onto them. Engagement timing, I believe, is the most important fundamental to have down as a Tracer player. So at its core, engagement timing is just the concept of making a play at the same time as the rest of your team. And an indicator of good engagement timing is if you engage and you feel like the enemy aren't shooting back at you, you're probably engaging at the right time because they'll be distracted, say, shooting your tank. So a lot of time when people complain, mostly in low ranks, I notice, they go in and say, they're distracting the enemy team. Why aren't my team pushing in? To be honest, that's your fault. You're going in too early. You need to just slow it down a little bit. Wait for your team to come in. And a tip that I can give, before you go in, turn around. You can see the outlines of your teammates through walls and just go, okay, my team are nearly here. We can go. It's probably the easiest to know when you've got dives. So say if you've got a Winston, Diva, Doomfist, anything like that, you go in as your tank's going in or just after. You don't want to be showing up too late, but you also don't want to show up too early. And it's a bit harder when you've got a brawl tank because, say, it's not as obvious as them going for a dive, but pretty much just when they're starting to like engage on the front line, then you can start going in.
This is like, I really like that whole concept. Like, I feel like when you're playing someone like Tracer, she's so zippy and zappy. It's sort of like, I need to be like constantly shooting, constantly get it. But like, just simply waiting for the moment where they're all shooting at something and that's sort of the time to strike because they're already looking at something else. They're already doing something. They're not like hunting for you or they're not like,
yes,
it's so smart and simple. And that's a major tip for me.
It sounds like a really simple concept, but so many people mess it up. And like, again, like I'm no perfect player. I make the mistake after time too. Like I will make a mistake and I'll notice, oh, I have 4 people looking at me. This is really bad timing. Like, what am I doing? So it's something to be cautious of. As simple as it sounds, you need to get it down because you only have 175 health. You could just fall over really quickly. You are one of the squishiest heroes in the game. Yeah. If you've got 4 people looking at you, you're as good as dead. Yeah. So you've got to be careful of when you're going in. Right. So mastering the Tracer 1v1. So something that is only really noticed by the higher rank Tracer players, you want to aim at the feet when you're in a Tracer 1v1. As much as you think, oh, shoot the head, it does more damage. If you're aiming at their feet, you're actually hitting like the wider area of the hitbox. As I said, in the mag, you'll deal up to 240 damage even without headshots. If you hit all your shots, that's enough to kill the Tracer, even if you're aiming at the legs. And the same applies when you're shooting a Kiriko. The hitbox is also just wider, so just shoot her. You want to utilize cover when you're reloading, so play around your corners, simple cover usage. It's kind of self-explanatory. Trigger discipline's key. Again, I'll go over that shortly. And you want to try and take favorable 1v1s. So you want to say, take a 1v1 where the enemy Tracer has difficulty getting help from her team, but you can get help. So say like a Kiriko can help you out. So in a way that becomes more like a 2v1 rather than a 1v1. Because the last thing you want to do is take even 1v1s that just come down to aim. You want to give as many advantages as possible. So another one's like the resource advantage. If you know the enemy Tracer has no recall or blinks, and you've got all your blinks, all your recall, take that 1v1. You've got the resource advantage. You should win it, because effectively with recall, you can have 350 health, just about. So if you go in with your recall, they don't have their recall, they've pretty much got half the health you do. Recall in a 1v1, not just the Tracer 1v1, any 1v1, you can take free damage trades, as long as you recall before you die, pretty much.
Another question that came up was about counters and maybe more favorable 1v1s that you might want to take over others, or like, what do you think that's for Tracer?
So one counter I would say right now that's very common that a lot of people are struggling with, and even myself at times, is Symmetra meta at the moment. Tracer does really struggle into Symmetra. And my tip against, say, probably Sim, Torb are the main ones. So, you know, you're playing against your turrets. You want to slow it down, wait for your team to probably break the turrets for you before going. You really just, it's just about slowing down. That's the main way of playing around your counters. Slow down, take some time to think, okay, how to do this. Don't just run in and take a duel. And I noticed someone in the chat said something about Kiriko. Personally, I just try and not 1v1 a Kiriko. She's stupid broken. She just kills you in 2 shots, like for a support hero. She can headshot, body shot Tracer. So I just do not bother with it. Like, unless, say, I've got my team help. Like, it's so funny that a support hero is one of the scariest heroes for Tracer to duel.
So they should be.
So
be more scary support.
Yeah, I really enjoy playing Kiriko. Hate playing against her when I'm on Tracer.
Here we go.
So I think a few things I'll go through is probably your blinks. So what I was saying earlier, you want to go in the range and get used to your blink range. So say this bot, I know I'm going to go around, like, because I've played enough Tracer, I know I'm going to blink through. So I want to turn around, move my mouse, so I'm looking back at it. But say if I'm here, I know I'm out of blink range. I know I don't need to turn my mouse. So that's pretty much the whole thing of, you don't want to get lost when you're trying to blink around people. So
you're saying it's 7.5 meters, right?
Yes. It's not anything you really have to mentally think about when you're in game, but say we're at the 30 meter, there's the 20 meter, blink forward.
Yeah, right.
Like that's the range of your blink, from here to here. But as you play enough Tracer, you will just be able to get it down. Like, I know I'm going to turn around. I know I'm going to be behind him. I know I'm going to be in front of him now. So that's something you just, if you're brand new to Tracer, get comfortable to knowing if you're going to be blinking in front, behind, to the side of them, so that you don't get too lost when you're in a 1v1 with someone. Like, because imagine, say, I'm going to try and pretend I don't know. Like, imagine you're like, oh, I'm going to like turn around, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
where'd he go?
Yep.
Like, you want to get so comfortable with it that you can pretty much just, like, while you're blinking, turn and still be looking at the bot. And it's just something that will come with muscle memory.
Do you have quite a high sense to be doing that, or are you just like a big mouse whipper?
No, very much with rounds. 3. Wait, nope, that's I think 4.5. Yeah, I was like, the sense felt a bit weird. But people say to me, like, I look like I have shaky high aim, even though I play on low aim. That's just my aim style.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the cleanest aimer. But yeah, so you don't need a ridiculously high sense to play Tracer. I know some people who do, and I know some people who don't. And sometimes I see people with high sense who look like they're on low sense, and I also see people on low sense who look like they play on really high.
Yeah.
But then coming in with the whole what's it called? Melee? Getting used to your blink range. It's the blink melee. So that's a bad blink melee purely because they're like not on the threshold. But say this would be a good blink melee because you get, say if that target was getting healed, you've just burst them through the healing. They can't get healed, they die.
Yeah.
And then something that is very situational, but I probably do force it a little bit too much just because it looks really flashy, Oh, I'm not meant to kill it there. So you see that, like, you can animation cancel your melee with the recall. Yeah,
right. Okay.
You can.
That did look flashy.
Yeah, you can. You can animation cancel your recall or your melee with a recall. So I'll do it again. So you see in the kill feed, it says I've killed it with a melee, even though you couldn't even see the melee. It looked like I just blinked in the bot and it died.
All right, that's a cool animation cancel.
So say the only time I think it's like actually good and would be worthwhile doing, just not even for the flashiness. Say if you, it's probably more so when you've got the level 3 perk, when you're going to get your blinks back. If you're going to need to recall anyway and you see the target one, just go for it and just kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing, it's not really all that important, but when you're selecting your tracer perk, it's just always the one that's on the left. So you just know you can just click your perk select and just left click for your perk. So so you know, you just get it down again. It's just Tracer, in my opinion, is one of those heroes that even if you've got the theory, you just need to play her. Like, you will just get better with it the more you play her. Same goes for a lot of heroes, but as I was saying with Tracer and her high skill ceiling, I think it's more important than like anyone to do that.
So
just because so much of it comes down to muscle memory and like instinct.
I think that's a lot of them. In our earlier conversations before we started, you mentioned you had some different key bindings for Tracer.
Yes. I don't think you can see it from your spectator, but Tracer is the only hero in the game that I do not use Q for ultimate. I use left shift for Tracer, purely for the fact that say if I was using Q, I wouldn't be able to walk to my left and throw pulse bomb. It would be a very awkward thing of, you know, pressing Q and A at the same time with my ring finger. So instead, I can just hold A with my ring finger and then throw the pulse with my pinky on left shift.
Okay.
So it's really just kind of like the whole thing of optimal binds. It's not really something that's heard of Overwatch, but if you've like at all seriously tried to play Fortnite, you've very much heard of optimal binds. So yeah, that's kind of something I've done with Tracer. I know a lot of people have done the same. And then for blinks, I personally think that the only like input you should use for blinks is right click. I know most people do that anyway, so it's not anything I'll go too over, but it's like a default bind for it.
Yeah.
You don't have to press anything else other than your right click for it. Just makes it nice and easy. But yeah, I can't really demonstrate too well here because obviously it's not a moving target or anything. But the whole like aiming on the legs thing, just a lot easier to hit.
So smart because it's like you've only got body and head, which are the two differentiators for like damage, right? So
yeah. So a lot of the times, like you take a 1v1 with a Tracer, and then you're like, how are they dealing so much more damage than me? Because when they're moving around up and down, it's hard to like, you know, track the head. But if you just aim at the legs, you're shooting at the biggest part of the hitbox, most consistent. And if they're dealing more damage than you, honestly, they're probably doing exactly what I've said. They're probably aiming at your feet.
I have another question. Also, YouTubers, if you want to get more questions in the comments, we might be able to answer them as well after the fact. So get commenting. I
can check the YouTube comments and answer. So
yeah.
Do that.
From Super Fun Happy says, I'm not a good Tracer and was wondering if playing Tracer to distract the other team's Tracer. Wait, this is so many Tracers in a sentence. You're saying should they be trying to distract the other enemy Tracer? Is that a legit tactic? I guess it's just trying to
100%.
solidify that 1v1.
100%.
Right? Yeah.
That is honestly one of your biggest jobs as a Tracer. Is if they've got an enemy Tracer or honestly any enemy flex DPS more than anything. So I don't know how many of you understand like the main DPS, flex DPS. Main DPS is mostly like your hit scans or the people who do primary damage with their guns. So say Sojourn, Widow, Ashe, characters like that. And then your flex DPS are like Genji, Pharah, Tracer, Echo, Venture, stuff like that. If they've got an enemy flex DPS, you're probably going to be looking to mark them as much as possible. Marking is basically just keeping them in check so that say they don't get the freest flank on your backline or they can't take an angle. So trying to think of a good example, I could take you to a map that I can show this better.
There was also also in the last hero school that we did with Liam Fox, he was just talking about the concept of like literally just getting a distraction or getting people to like leave a fight or try and find you. It's like it's almost as good as killing them because they're not.
Yeah, you take them out of the fight.
They're not engaging in the fight.
You just like come with me. Yes, so we'll go to King's Row just to demonstrate this. I'll go to. Yeah, so say I can just do it right here. Say there's a fight going on here. Your enemy back. Here
we go. Yeah.
Are you spectating?
Yeah.
All right. So say like your Ana Zen, for example, are sitting on this corner. The payload is around here. Like your tank's here. The enemy traits. Say a bad example would be if you're like trying to fight up here. You're just shooting in main stacked on your tank. That's bad because I'm just going to pretend I'm the enemy tracer now. What could I do here? I can just. Dead. But if you play around this side, so the tracers come around, you like keep them in check here, blink to the cover to reload, shoot them. They're not just going to get a free walk over there. Can fight around this mega. Then even if so, you could like fight, kind of like take an angle on their front line while your tank is here, shooting them from off angle. That's another thing. You don't want to stack main with tracer. Stacking main tracer is very bad, and again, I still do it too often. I'm trying to get out of that habit of just fighting in main with your tank. You want to take more off angles, take positions, divert their attention. That's what you want to do mainly as a flex DPS, is just fight the angles, take their attention, make them look somewhere else other than main. Yep. Take off pressure off of your tank, and then also protect your backline.
Take that trace.
So that's the main thing. So very much, yes, that is pretty much one of your jobs, is you can just protect your backline by taking a 1v1. And the whole thing of advantageous 1v1s, like I was saying earlier, it would be much better for me to take a 1v1 up here where my support, it's probably, as I was saying, if I was a Zenyatta, Zen can fight here, he can put a Harmony Orb on me, and I can take a fight up here with this Tracer, and it'll be a whole lot better than if I was taking this 1v1 here. Because where am I getting help from my team? If the Tracer's here, their backline is probably right here. They can help her while I'm getting nothing. So that's another thing. You just do not want to take 1v1s that are not in your favor, and you can create these advantages for yourself. If the Tracer gets greedy, she could like blink all the way over to here, try and take this fight, and then what happens? The backline, they turn, say I'm here, they can turn, help me, and even say the Zen, he could just shoot a 5-orb volley here and just kill the Tracer himself. So it becomes, even though it looks like a 1v1, it could be pretty much a 3v1 now.
This is great.
Yeah.
I thought maybe if we had time, maybe I know you showed like some of the little blink spots, or like maybe just an example of like one of the blink spots that you like that people might want to try it for themselves and find their own as well.
One right there.
Yeah.
That I've just done. You could basically go, oh, if I over here, but I hear like their Tracer's trying to go from there. I go, oh, okay, I'm gonna go over here. Boom, I'm marking you now. You're not doing anything. And if they're going over there, I just drop down, come back over here, take this fight. So yeah, the blink spot's very useful, because vertical blink, like see how it's not exactly in level, but because the blink very slightly goes up, I can now get up here. It used to originally just take you only straight forward and you didn't actually get any vertical height, but now you get the slightest little bit. I know there are some like really flashy ones on certain maps, like I don't think you can do it here, but say an example, you could like jump and then you can somehow triple blink on an angle up to the high ground.
Yeah, right.
But it's all about experimentation. You can definitely find videos on YouTube showing spots. It's probably the best map I can think of, like spots, is Ilios. There's a lot of different ones on that map. So yeah, I think that's mostly what I wanted to go through with Tracer.
All right.
Oh, there's another one. Like just example, you could like jump up onto there, get up here, blink, blink, and then you can fight a Tracer that's trying to come over here. And you'll just find space. Yeah, so you'll find spots like that on any map. Like they're all over the place. You've just got to look for them and find them.
Good-o. All right. I think last question. Does Jai always take the 1v1 Tracer duel as the counter swap. I feel like you're on the duel.
I take the duel. I take the duel.
That's a confidence. Make them switch, right?
Yes, that's one other thing. We said at the start something about mindset. Be confident in your ability to win the duel.
Yeah.
Like if you are scared, they automatically have an advantage.
Yeah.
Providing they're not also scared. But I feel like you will only be scared if you know they can beat you. And if they know they can beat you, they're going to feel more confident and they will be able to beat you. So be confident in your ability to take a duel. Even if, like, say I've taken duels against like some really crazy Tracer players that I think are even better than me. But then I've beaten them just because I'm not super scared of it. It's like if I lose the 1v1, then whatever, it's okay. You could. It's kind of with any hero in a 1v1 or just any 1v1 in general. Give them the respect once they've earned it. Don't give someone respect if they haven't earned it yet. If you can start just smashing someone in a 1v1 because you haven't respected them, then you can just like keep not respecting them, is the way you could say it. It's kind of a whole thing of like a little bit of an ego without having like a toxic ego. Because there's a difference between, like, people just inherently think ego equals bad. It's good to have a little bit of an ego at times, but not in the sense of like, oh, you're bad, like stuff like that. Like definitely could say it a lot more toxic ways, but I'm not gonna say that here, obviously. But it's good to just have that, like, I don't know if silent ego is the word, but just in your head, just feel like, yeah, I am confident in my ability to win this. I feel like I can. This person is not better than me unless they have started to earn it. Then you can still, even if they've earned the respect, and you're like, okay, I actually have to like care, not take this 1v1 as much now. You can just be a bit more careful about it, slow it down more than anything.
Let's move on to Freya.
Freya, yes. Let me switch to the
back over
slides. All right.
Turn the slide off.
So I'll say this is going to be a lot shorter of a segment. I don't have as much to say about Freya. One, purely for the fact that she's like the newest hero to come out. There's the more heroes out, the more they're going to discover about things. But I've put a lot of time into Freya since she's released. And I had a very high win percentage on her last season specifically. So I like to think I know somewhat what I'm doing with her. Again, this is mostly just going to be overview of her abilities and a few extra little tips in the slides, and then I'll just show a few extra things in game.
Love that.
So, why should you play Freya? She has very high mobility for a main DPS, and this, like, I know I said I'm flex DPS player. I do play Freya as well because I feel like she can be a little bit of a pseudo flex DPS, even though she's much more a main DPS. Mainly because of her mobility. Like, think of, say, Ashe. All the mobility she's got is a coach gun. Widowmaker, all she's got is a grapple. But Freya, she has an updraft and 2 dashes. So she can just constantly be on the move. So she can be very hard to catch out. Very deadly burst damage that is consistent with her take aim. So her right click, her explosive bolt. A lot of carry potential, which pretty much is as simple as coming down to hitting all your bolts. It is aim. Freya, this is why I say it's going to be a lot shorter. Freya is a lot simpler of a character, but that doesn't mean that she has a low skill ceiling. She is actually kind of difficult. And I see a lot of people go, oh, Freya's overpowered. She's so easy. Yes, I think she's got the whole concept of a low skill floor, but a high skill ceiling. Whereas someone like Tracer, I think to get even the base value, it's a bit higher of a skill floor because it takes bit more knowledge to get the minimum value out of it than it does like a Freya. And you can put lots of pressure on the front line, so constantly pushing the tank. I'm sure any of you tank players out there know how annoying Freya is to play on tank or to play against. Like, you're trying to walk and you just get hit with 4 bolts and it's like there's all your health gone. Okay, so her rev draw crossbow. So she has 15 ammo firing at a rate of roughly 5 seconds per shot. Or 5 shots per second, I mean. She deals 25 damage per shot with no fall-off range. I should preface that this is just her, like, automatic fire. and it's fully accurate for the first 5 or so shots, and then it reaches the maximum spread after firing 12 shots. So because of this, you want to weave in your crossbow shots in between take aim. So I'll show that soon. Because you could, in the time that it takes to recover, you could shoot about 5-6 shots. All of them are very accurate, or are fully accurate. It said for the first 5 or so shots, it is accurate. Take aim. So this is where the bulk of her carry potential comes from. As I said, it fires an explosive bolt that deals 40 damage when directly hit, and then an additional 90 damage when they explode. So when you're using it, you slow down your momentum by 80% and your gravity by 90%. So you can actually use this with your other mobility to jump and reach higher places with it. Like mainly with your updraft. And again, I'll demonstrate soon enough. But you can use take aim's momentum cancelling to actually like increase your mobility. As weird as it sounds, it's like you're slowing down to move faster. Which I'm surprised a lot of people actually somehow don't know about. So I'm keen to like show that. Quick dash. It's a very straightforward ability. You hold two charges to take 4.5 seconds each to recharge, and they vault you in the direction you're moving, and it refreshes your take aim. If there's no mobility or no movement being inputted, you'll be propelled upwards instead of based off of a directional input. It can be used without interrupting take aim, so you can still be like holding down your right click. You can jump, and it won't like take you out of your scope. And then you use your quick dash primarily to refresh your tank aim shots, or to dodge damage, or to get away and survive. They're probably the 3 main uses of your quick dash. Then your updraft. It sends you about 8.5 meters in the air when activated. It takes 12 seconds to recharge. You want to mainly use updraft to take angles that people wouldn't expect, so you can treat it like a Widowmaker grapple shot. So say there's a corner. The Widowmaker would grapple up the corner, peek around the corner in the air, take the shot, and then like go back into the cover. With Freya, you could jump up, go out, take the shot, and then you could like quick dash around the corner and then potentially take another shot. Make sure to use updraft with cover and not fly in the open with it. So that comes down to like Farah. You're not going to play Farah and fly in the middle of the air where every single person can see you. You want to make sure that you've got some cover to work with, as if like you're on the ground. Then her bowler shot. So she fires an explosive bowler that deals a total of 215 damage to people that she sticks with it, and up to 190 damage to the other enemies that get pulled into the stuck target. And targets directly hit are hindered, as well as the direct hit target, and all other enemies that are pulled in are slowed by 75%. And it requires 1,750 points to charge, but with her passive, which is Bounty Hunting, it grants an additional 25% ult charge after achieving 3 final blows, so you can build your ult a lot faster than usual. And it's something I forgot to mention with Tracer, but with Freya, it's the same thing. You just want to use it pretty much as soon as you've got it, because it recharges so quickly. You can have it every single fight, just use it. And I think with Bowler Shot, and the same with Pulse, you don't want to use it to look for big multi-kills. Bowler, I use to solo ult people all the time. Like, I will just see one target and just go, yep, you're dead. I'm just hitting you with a bowler, and I'll hit you with one bolt, and you're dead.
I feel like that's true for most heroes, right? Like using your ultimate to try and get more than one pick is like just to secure one is often enough to turn a fight, right? It's just dependent on the cost of the ability. Like, say a grab from Zar, you're not gonna you can, but you're not gonna look to solo ult just like one support with it. Whereas like you could do it with a bowler shot. Because like with Grav, you're going to probably look to at least try and get 2. It really just comes down to how expensive is the ult and what is the value or the maximum value you can get with it that is reasonable. Like, say we'll come back. Say the Grav example. You're not going to be looking to hit a 5-man Grav every time. It's the same with the bowler. You're not looking to save it and use it like a mini Grav. As much as it pulls people in, it's better to just guarantee 1 kill with it. Same as a pulse bomb. Yeah.
And then with her perks, it's the exact same as Tracer in the fact that I think the other 2 perks, 99% of the time, just aren't good. Frostbolts might be a little bit different. Frostbolts, some people do take, but the wall hacks of the critical health enemies is just overpowered. The critical health, I thought at first, like I was taking Frostbolts when Freya first came out. Then I was like, oh wait, critical health in this game means under 50% health. I don't even think that's really critical. But if they are half health, if they can be hit with a echo beam at the maximum damage, you can see them through a wall.
Yeah.
And the overpowered thing, in my opinion, is the fact that you can ping the targets through walls. Even though only you can see them through the wall, you can ping them for your team. So say someone's sitting in a corner on low health trying to like live, you can see them through the wall and just go, "Hey, this guy's here, by the way." And then my team will walk around the corner and kill him. So pinging on Freya, and it's the same as Tracer. I forgot to say earlier. You can use it basically scout and tell your team where people are. And then the ready to hunt is it's just broken. Straight up. You get a free use of your quick dash, so you can have 3 dashes instead of 2. Which means just more consistent damage. Relentless Barrage, I just don't think it's that useful. Like, yeah, you can hit a take aim shot and get 4 bolts back, but like the automatic fire bolts, but I just don't think they're that useful compared to having an additional quick bolt, like the take aim.
You've made a good point there about pinging. Yep. Like, ping stuff, chat. Ping stuff.
Yes, dude. Try. So many people don't. Pinging is overpowered.
Pinging is
it
so
genuinely
good.
is. It's genuinely kind of broken.
Yeah.
Yes, and especially say if you're someone who doesn't call much, like you don't have a mic, don't feel comfortable using a mic. Please, for the love of God, just still ping.
Yeah.
Like you do not need any communication to do it. Like you just have to press one button, and you actually just give so much information to your team. It's something you do on a lot of DPS in general, not just Tracer and Freya. So a lot of concepts actually like interweave between each other for DPS heroes. You want to scout and use your ping when you're scouting for enemy positions. And part of that can come with this perk that you can ping your targets through walls.
You're right. All right, we're on Jai Vision.
Okay, so first of all, I'll show the momentum thing. So, just with a regular updraft, say I jump, I just can't make it up there. I'll have to wait for the cooldown to come back. But give it a second. Like, I can jump, take aim, and I get sent up higher. And I can make it up to this higher ground. So pretty much every single time that I updraft, I just do the take aim really quickly, like that. And you just get so much more height on it. It's like an extra few meters. So that's something you pretty much just always want to do with Freya. And you can see just then I had the 3 final blows, so that just got granted an additional 25 ult charge. I should add that if you are at maximum ult charge, the charge will actually wait until you've used your bowler. So I've got my ult again. I get the kill. It holds it there. I use the ultimate. And it automatically just puts the 25 on as soon as you've used it. So that's something to take note of. So you could actually only require 75 instead of 100 to get your ultimate. So that's something worth noting.
Yeah.
But it can the passive is very good just for the fact that you can just build your ult so quickly, considering it's already a pretty fast building ultimate. Also another thing, and honestly, it'll probably be best for me to show this in third person. So I might like quickly just set a stadium.
I can just press a
stadium
space.
training range. Oh, true. Yeah. You can. It's not the most useful thing. I don't do it all too often, but something that's just kind of cool to know is that you can actually kind of get some diagonal movement with Freya, depending on what you input first. So you could like walk forward, shift updraft, and you can. I don't know if you could kind of see it well, but it's like instead of just going like up and then to like linear motions, you go in a bit of an arc up, and you can kind of do the same if you shift and that. So if you shift first and then updraft, you'll get a more vertical arc. But then if you do it the other way around, you get more of a horizontal arc with more distance.
I see. Yeah.
So it can be kind of useful if you're trying to like get away.
Yeah.
That's probably the main one is say I'm like getting chased. I want to like get away from someone. It's just like, oh shit. It's like yeah. That's just kind of used both the movement text. I don't know if you noticed, but I did a very quick tap of the right click to cancel the momentum, so I got a higher updraft.
Yeah.
While I'd also use the dash.
So
it's like I'll demonstrate it again. It's like. So really, Freya comes down to just making sure you're getting as much value by just putting out as much damage as you can while surviving and using your movement to ensure that you are, well, surviving. Because that's the whole job of a main DPS, is mostly just making sure you're outputting as much damage as you can.
Now, like, I know, like, on the onset, you said this is like quite a aim-intensive hero. Do you use like other tools or workshop modes or anything like that to like practice aim or to improve in that?
I can put it in. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of the code Vaxter. So I use Vaxter quite a bit to pretty much, pretty much use Vaxter so I can practice my aim with Freya. When I was starting out, I was really bad with hitting the bolts. Like, it takes a lot of practice because there's nothing that's really like them. So if you want to spectate now, like, if you're just starting with Freya for the first time, my recommendation is just slow it down. Like, just make sure you take the time to hit the bolt.
Yeah.
But then as you get a bit better, like, don't worry, I'm missing my shots around. I'm not a perfect player. So you'll get comfortable with hitting the shot.
Yeah. And we'll put this in the YouTube description so you guys got all the different places.
Yes.
Different links for things. Yeah, interesting. Okay, that's a good one. I think I've seen people use this one before, so it must be. Oh, because it's got all all the player names. They're all like Overwatch League player names from.
And it's the same. If I go back to like what I was saying with Tracer, like this is a really good place to actually like practice aim on people who are moving. You can hit your pulse, practice your pulse bombs. I'm missing them all like always because I suck at it. But yeah, I'm trying to find if I can. I need a Tracer bot to appear.
Yeah, where is she?
But it's also because the cooldowns come back a lot quicker than just in the training range.
Yeah.
But it basically allows you to get much better realistic practice, and you can change a lot of settings.
Yeah.
So this mode is very good. And I know it's not any of the heroes that are in this state, but I practice my Pharah in this a lot. I turn on the jumping, and I'll just shoot the jumping bots to practice my direct hits with Pharah. Because, like, it's very... Like, Pharah is probably one of my other most played heroes other than, like, Tracer, Freya. Also Genji.
That's a good one.
So, this is a very good code, especially for DPS players, to practice your things. And, also, even if, say, you're a support player, you want to practice your Ana. You can practice hitting sleep darts.
Yeah.
I'm not an Ana player, so I'm not good at hitting sleeps, but just as an example. Very useful code.
Back on Freya, there was a question in chat. They said, are there any maps where Freya can dominate more on than others?
Yeah, I think maps that have really a lot of high grounds are really good. So Gibraltar, I think, is one of Freya's strongest maps. She's very good on Circuit Royale. It's just any of like these like sniper maps can be really good. But also these sniper maps also have a bit of cover. So also Shambali is good. I think Junkertown is good. Really, any maps you think Widow, but maybe just slightly shorter range with a bit more cover.
Yeah,
would be the best Freya maps. Any like things that have got rooftops you can work with. I don't think there are many inherently bad Freya maps. Just some that are better than others.
Yeah.
Whereas someone like Tracer, I think there are bad Tracer maps, even though like you definitely can play her, but she's just not as good on others. Like I don't think Tracer's that good on like Circuit Royale. Probably it's the main one that I can think of. A lot of like open map Havana, Tracer's also not that good on.
Yeah.
Whereas Freya, I think you can get away with on almost every map, but she is just stronger on others. That is mostly everything I want to go through in terms of basics and like fundamentals around both those heroes, and some little like tech and advanced stuff.
Yeah. All right, so that is Overwatch Hero School from Jai. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. I think I've certainly got a whole bunch of takeaways. If you're interested in Jai's content, we've got a whole bunch of links in the description for where to find him. And comment which hero you think we should do next, and I'll go find someone some more big brains to come help us. All right. Thanks for hanging out.